good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you're watching this. I appreciate you and your time more than you could ever know. Jags to Riches, James Peters. Welcome to Celtics Corner. I just wanted to quickly recap the Boston Celtics and Portland Trailblazers game from last night. Now, the final score was, of course, 109-105 in favor of Portland. And I just wanted to briefly go over the box score, talk about my players of the game for both teams, then just go over some of my key takeaways from the game, and then maybe address some rumors towards the very end. But let's get straight to the box score. Taking a look at the box score, starting with our Boston Celtics, my player of the game would be Jayson Tatum. Now, unfortunately, it was a 109-105 loss. However, he was on triple-double watch with 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Unfortunately, he was 0 for 6 from the three-point line. Now, his partner in crime, Jaylen Brown, with 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, 7 for 20 from the field, 2 for 7 from the three-point line. Looking at the rest of the starters, you had Rob Williams. He did actually pull down 10 rebounds. He also had 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks to go at 5 points. Dennis Schroeder in 22 minutes was 4 for 9 from the field, 9 points, 4 assists, and 4 steals with 2 rebounds. And of course, showing love to the bench, excellent, solid performances from both Romeo and Grant Williams. Now, Grant would have 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. He was 3 for 5 from the three-point line, and Romeo Langford plus 17 on the night, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks. He was 5 for 7 from the field. Excellent job, Romeo. Transitioning over to our opponent, showing love to their player of the game, Jusuf Nurkic absolutely dominated us to the tune of 29 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists. He was 9 for 16 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, 10 for 13 from the field from the free throw line. Looking at their all-star, CJ McCollum had actually 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. He was 7 for 19 from the field. And Simons, who has taken over for Damian Lillard, has been phenomenal for this team. I know he's averaging 20-plus points since taking over from Dame, and tonight was no different. He had 21 points and was a +8 for them. Coming off the bench, they did have Ben McLemore, who actually was 4 for 7 from the three-point line, and he had 12 points, 3 rebounds. Now, Rob Covington did play 39 minutes. He only had 5 points. However, 3 of them came on what was a huge 3 on a missed defensive assignment by Jaylen Brown. And transitioning over, guys, so just going over the game summary, essentially picking up from halftime, the Celtics had a 58-54 lead coming into the third quarter, and they would actually at one point go on a 21-6 run in the third quarter. There was a point in the fourth quarter where the game was literally 89. Again, 100-89. That was picked up around the 7-minute mark and lasted up until about the 5-minute mark. So you're talking about 5 minutes left with an 11-point lead. However, Portland would basically go on a 20-5 run to end the game. Rob Covington would hit a huge three-pointer on just a terrible defensive lapse by JB. It looked like he was trying to help Rob on a double team by a CJ McCollum potential drive instead of picking up the wide open Rob Covington, who is a known knockdown three-point shooter. Jayson Tatum would go down and end up hitting 2 free throws, which would give us a 104-102 lead with about 26 seconds to go. Now, Simons would drive and Rob would end up switched onto him and actually had pretty good defense forcing the miss. However, with Grant Williams and I believe Romeo Langford down low, Jusuf Nurkic gets the rebound and was able to go right back up. That, on top of the free throws, would pretty much be the ball game. Jayson Tatum would do a step back 3 that was missed. He was turning the corner, fumbled the ball with Jusuf Nurkic, just basically decided to bail out. Like I said, did a hard stopping step back 3. Like I said, that missed. Free throws on the other end, game over. Final score 109-105. Now, if you look at some of the game stats, all major stats were nearly identical You're talking about rebounds were both 42 apiece per team, steals 7-6, assists 25-20, field goal percentage 47.4 to 45.1. The one major glaring difference, can you guess? Yep, 3-point percentage. Portland 48.5% from the three-pointer. The Boston Celtics 29.7%. So guys, just some of my takeaways from this game. Right now, this puts us at a January record of 6 wins, 5 losses. We're now the 10th seed with 23 wins, 24 losses on the year. Now, this was a game with no Dame, no Larry Nance, no Marcus Smart. And this was actually Marcus Smart's 6th straight game he's actually missed. Now, if you look at it, Jayson Tatum right now is currently on a streak of 20 consecutive three-pointers missed. He's already at a career low when it comes to shooting. He is shooting 31% from the three. Just to give you an idea of his other years, 43, these are all percent, so 43%, 38%, 40%, 39%. He's basically a career 38+% three-point, shooter. This year, like I said, 31%. And from the field goal, he's shooting normally between 45 and 47% from the field. This year, 41%. So career lows, and it's ironic because he's having the second highest point per game scoring season of his career. He's having a career year in rebounds. Same with assists. This is the second highest assist total. So second highest points, second highest assist, career year in rebounds. Yet his shooting is as bad as it's ever been, and it's not even close. The Boston Celtics didn't score a basket for the final 7+ minutes of this game. Just free throws. How do you have 2 All-Stars? How do you have just an NBA team and you can't score a basket for 7+ minutes? Guys, again, now the Boston Celtics, when it comes to crunch time games, essentially games decided by within 5 points, they are now 4-12 on the year. This game is another qualifier for worst game of the season, and I actually am going to do a separate video. I'll probably post it to my Jags to Riches channel, where I'm just going to go over the worst losses of the season and recap, because at this point, how many are there? 5, 7? I mean, let's think real quick. You got the Bulls on November, that 19-point loss to the Bulls, or the 19-point collapse, 19-point to Cleveland. Then you had the Clippers, where the Boston Jr. killed you. You had the Clippers, the 4 for 42. You had the Minnesota G Leaguers. You had the Knicks 25, where R.J. Barrett hit that 3. And then you had tonight's game, where you didn't score for the last 7 minutes, and they ended the game on a 20-5 run. Like, that's 7 games right there to review. I mean, just that is what's frustrating about that team, because when you think about those games or the other 12 that they've lost by 5 or less, the 5th seeded team is only like 4 games ahead of us when it comes to wins. The first place teams, all the Bucks and Bulls and Nets and Heat, they're only like 6 games ahead of us. So when you start thinking of these 7 or these 12, just a few of them would have this team out of this play-in situation and right back in the fray. That is what's so frustrating about this team. They finished the homestand at 2 wins, 2 losses, and now 2 straight losses after going 5 out of 6. And how quickly you go, they need to get a handle on this, guys, because quickly you go from Celtics were winners out of 5 out of the last 6. Now all of a sudden it's 5 out of the last 8. Remember when it was 7 out of the last 11? Well, now it's 7 out of the last 13. You see how quickly things can get out of hand? Marcus Smart has missed the last 6 games. Now, there has been rumors and just constant. This has been years now with Marcus. Almost every year there's rumors, right? But this year, I'll call it a source. It's someone that I know, and obviously you've seen some of the people I've worked with. So I'm a nobody, obviously, you know what I mean? But there are some people I know that are connected enough to where I think they know some things behind scenes and they speak to people. And they actually told me there is an extremely high chance that Marcus Smart does not finish this year on the Boston Celtics this year. As in, he wasn't sure, though, if it was going to be this season or if it would be the off season. And the argument is if you wait until the off season and you hold on to him, well, then if one of those stars, the Levines, the Beals, the whoever's of the world, if they become available, he's a big, he'd be, one of the big members of that trade package. You know what I mean? Like, that would be very valuable to have Marcus in his contract at that time just to sweeten that deal. However, the 4 teams that they're linked to that you could possibly see if a trade was to happen during this season in the next several weeks, the 4 teams you're looking at, and 3 we've talked about, me and Bobby on Trust the Podcast several times, but it's Sacramento, it's Portland, and it's Indiana. The Pacers are the 3. Now, Sacramento pretty much would be what? Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, something along those lines. The Pacers, it would probably be, almost all of their guys make it right around the same. So it'd be maybe Brogdon or LeVert. It could be Turner, Sabonis. Any one of them, it could be a package just because of how the money works out. And at the same time, then you've got Portland. That's interesting. Maybe Nurkic. I hear that they're looking at bringing in this mystery center. That I hear they're trying to move Al to look to upgrade at center, but Nurkic, Powell, there's so many guys there. Again, that money works out. But the dark horse team that we haven't talked about a lot is the Miami Heat. There's actually a good chance that it could be a Marcus Smart for Duncan Robinson trade, just because Miami is looking to potentially, they might not, be as, just Kyle Lowry, as good as he is, guys, he's what, 35, 36? Marcus Smart really fits a lot of the same check marks when it comes to just toughness on the defensive end. Some of the leadership qualities that Kyle Lowry has. He obviously doesn't shoot like him, but then again, Kyle Lowry's not as good as a defender. And just Smart, I think, would fit with that team just with how Jimmy Butler and Bam play, just that tough, excellent. Can you imagine a Smart, Jimmy Butler, and Bam defensive lineup? Woo! And then again, can you imagine the Celtics getting back a Duncan Robinson or a Buddy Hield? Like, these are some of the best shooters in the game. I just think of how this Portland game, you had Jayson Tatum running a lot of point. And when he's bringing it up, it's just, who's he passing it to? Just Rob and Al. And, if Jalen's off. But, and then if you've got Smart or Schroeder, these are the Al, Rob, Smart, Schroeder. Those are 4 of the best players on the team, and they're all terrible shooters. It's just, oh my goodness, man. Whereas other teams, even their players that aren't so good, they're passing to a Ben McLemore who's, had multiple seasons where he shot in the high 30s, 40%, and he's hitting 4 for 7. It's like, we don't seem to have that outside of Grant and Josh Richardson, guys. But anyways, don't want to hold up too much more of your time. If you didn't get a chance, go check out Bobby's video. It's him actually reacting to the highlights. So you can actually see for yourself what went on in this game. I actually will be finishing up my Rewind in Time. It's an Isaiah Thomas video. It's taken a little longer than expected, but I really put a lot into it just because IT really does deserve that. And that run, those 2.5 years, it's so nostalgic. So I just wanted to make sure it was done right. And that should be posted within the next couple days, as well as I really am going to post just a review of some of the more heartbreaking, worst loss of the seasons, and kind of see if we can figure out, maybe have a vote on which one actually has been the worst loss. But otherwise, guys, Jags to Riches, James Peters, on behalf of Celtics Corner, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have an incredible conclusion to your weekend. All Celtics, all the time. Thank you so much. Take care, guys.